Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another transfer news and Manchester United latest news live stream. And it's a very hot day today if you're living in the UK, and it is a very hot time for Manchester United transfers because it was reported the other day that ERIK Tannard would like all his business wrapped up ideally by the end of June, if not first week of July, so he can have it sorted for his pre-season tour. ERIK Tannard would like everything to realistically be done before the 6th of July so he can take all his new signings on pre-season tour. We obviously know it's a complete new Man United structure, it's a complete new team for transfers, and hopefully they can go and get that done for Mr. ERIK Tannard. We've got lots to talk about in today's show. We've got lots of news updates on JURRIEN Timber to Manchester United. We've got some news on Antony to Manchester United. More updates on De Jong, more other transfer news, DARWIN, NUNEZ. We've actually been linked to a Stuttgart striker who's available for only £20 million that Bayern also interested in Sasa Kalovic. I think that's probably not how you say his name. We've also got Dean Henderson to Newcastle for £40 million, which I think would be good business. Lautaro Martinez links. Ajax's Lisandro Martinez links, the centre-back. And just lots to get into as well. We've got some comments that Tannard's made in an interview, Tannard's plans, Tannard's £200 million, where he wants to spend it. Samuel Lucas has come up with some interesting information, more on Steve McClaren, more on the coaching, Bish, Bash, Bosch. Lots to talk about as well. Some comments Gary Neville made. So we've got an action-packed show, so do make sure you hit that like button. Do make sure you subscribe down below if you're new. Do make sure you share the video and all that. But I do want to start with the Timber news. I think Timber's a transfer we all want to see at Manchester United. And if you want to see Timber come to Manchester United, smash that like button. So it came up by the Mirror yesterday that ERIK Tannard wants to bring Julian Timber with him to Manchester United. Both clubs, Ajax and United, are understood to be in talks over a deal from the defender. So we obviously know 3-4 weeks ago there was reports that United were in talks with Timber and Timber's agent. United have apparently been in talks with Timber and Timber's agent for a couple of weeks. MUFC and PB got an exclusive bit of information that there was a verbal agreement between Timber. However, do take that with a pinch of salt because that's not been confirmed yet, and that Timber's already agreed to join United. And if it's true that Timber's already agreed to join United, then all United needs to do is agree on a fee with Ajax. And Ajax have set a price. It's come out today from ERIK. Ajax have set a price of €35 million, which is like £28 million, which I think is very, very good. You know, same amount of money we sold Dan James for, if you look at it that way. And, you know, United would be willing to pay this price. It's come out that the price is €35 million. United would be happy to pay that price. Tannard wants him. So if it's true, and now do take this with a pinch of salt, but if it's true, we have a verbal agreement with Timber. If it's true, United and Ajax are in talks. And if the €35 million price is true, and that United and will pay that €35 million price is true, then Julian Timber will happen. Now, we don't know what's true, what's not true. It's easy for people to make things up and all of that. But the sources that have said this information, I don't think are the type of people to make it up. But the person that told them could have made it up to them, if you know what I mean. But we know United are in talks with Ajax. According to an exclusive that's come out from MUFC MPB yesterday, United entered talks with Ajax about just over 24 hours ago. They entered talks with Ajax yesterday about a deal for Julian Timber. United is still in talks with Ajax. We know what the price is. United want to get this deal done quickly. And what I will say about doing deals with Ajax is United do have a very good relationship with Ajax. And remember that when we signed Donny van de Beek, it was a deal that sort of came out of nowhere. Like, we were linked to Donny a bit, and then all of a sudden, in the space of 3 days, Donny van de Beek was a Man United player. And, you know, as I said, we were linked to Donny a bit, like, you know, how we've been linked to Timber a bit. We were linked to Timber for the last couple of months a little bit. And all of a sudden, in the last 3 days, the Timber links have gone up quite a bit. And it kind of reminds me of the Donny van de Beek deal. And this was under Woodward and Judge, who got fuck all done. But with Ajax, we would get linked to a player a little bit. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there would just be a big update. And the Donny deal got done quite quick. Now, obviously, Tannard is in. He wants Timber. Timber's on holiday. They're probably not going to sort anything out till Timber's back from his holiday in the Dutch island. But I could see Timber being the first signing United make. I think it's a deal that could be done easily. I think it's a deal that could be done fast. The only letdown in this is Bayern Munich. You know, apparently Timber's agreed to join United. If that's the case, then I believe we'll get Timber if that story is true. But obviously Bayern Munich are interested in Julian Timber. And I think, you know, you've got to keep an eye on that. Bayern Munich are very good getting business done as well. Steve is a Rangers fan and he said, big game tonight, excited, hope you win. I want Rangers to win. Smash a like if you want Rangers to win. I think everyone but Celtic fans really wants Rangers to win. I think it'll be absolutely incredible. And Tannard knows the weakest positions in our team. He does. Tannard's two priorities are two midfielders. That, like, I'm not even lying. Tannard has watched us play. Man United's priority this summer was striker. Okay, I'm not lying. Romano said a month ago, Man United viewed the striker position as a priority. Tannard's been here a couple of days and it's just come out that Tannard's two priorities are midfield. Like, Tannard knows Fred is not it. Bench players, yes. Starting 11 players, no. And if you want to argue that Fred is starting 11 players, well, what have we done this season? We've been shit. We've come 6th, maybe 7th. So you can't be starting 11 players if you come 7th. Now, actually, Fred's had quite a good season. I think he's been quite good under Rangnick. And McTominay has good moments. And if you put a good CDM next to McTominay and you put a good CDM next to Fred, then you can achieve stuff with them. But you can't have a midfield two of McTominay and Fred. They do not work. They do not complement each other. Maybe with some good coaching, they'll improve. I think especially McTominay. I say he's young. He's nearly 26, isn't he? Or he's 25 or something. I just think, midfield is number one priority. Look, I always say this, Harry Maguire. A lot of United fans, they're not the biggest fan of Harry Maguire, and look, he's been crap. Harry Maguire deserves to be dropped. Harry Maguire shouldn't be captain. But everyone is so desperate to sell Harry Maguire, and at the end of the day, I always say this. Bailly needs to go, Jones needs to go. That means if we sell Maguire, we'd literally have Lindelof and Varane, and then you got Timber coming in, and Varane always gets injured. You need to keep Maguire next season. And at the end of the day, Maguire is quite good for England. At the end of the day, last season, Maguire was very important for us. This season, he's been shit. You look at Scott McTominay, and if Scott McTominay, I don't want him to, but if Scott McTominay got an injury and all United's other midfielders were fit, would we be missing Scott McTominay? No. If Harry Maguire got an injury like he did last season, did we miss him at the end of last season? Yes. And at the end of the day, we do need a defender, we do need a striker, but the midfield for me is just the number one priority. And ERIK Tannard sees that as the number one priority. So even though JURRIEN Timber might be the first signing we do, because the difference between Timber and De Jong is United can get De Jong. United are working on a deal for De Jong, and Barcelona will have to sell De Jong, but we've got to convince De Jong to come. So De Jong to United depends if we can convince De Jong to come. JURRIEN Timber to United, if he wants to come, we just got to work out a deal with Ajax. And obviously, as I said, we've got a good relationship with Ajax. It'd be easy to get a deal done fast with JURRIEN Timber. So as I've really said, guys, I think JURRIEN Timber could be the first deal that we get done because it's easy. I think maybe De Jong could be the second one. I think after De Jong, we could be seeing another midfielder in. Kamara set to go to Atletico Madrid, which we're definitely going to regret. Maybe it'll be someone like Lema from RB Leipzig. And then I think, a fourth deal could be an NKUNKU or an Antony or a Darwin NUNEZ. I think we'll probably sign 4, maybe 5 players. If I was going to predict who we sign, I would say if it's a Timber, De Jong, a midfielder, and then one of Antony, NUNEZ, or NKUNKU, and then maybe a cheap fullback that we've never heard of, like a player we haven't really heard of and we haven't been linked to yet. I mean, if that was my prediction, but we will have to wait and see. But what I do think is that our business will probably be wrapped up before pre-season tour, which means that we'll all be ready for the start of the season in August, which I think will be brilliant, what we love to see. And as we know from many reports, Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders, a striker, a centre-back, and a fullback, is what's been reported as well. Maguire was average from the start. Our fans just compared him to Smalling to make him look better than he was. Look, I never wanted Maguire at Man United. I never wanted him, to be fair. I don't think he was that. He's English and overrated. Fred's improved a lot. McTominay was awful, but I believe he can be trained and instructed to become a better player, but still bench probably. I agree with Matthew's comment here. I think Fred's improved a lot. I think, every manager sees something in McTominay. I don't think McTominay's an awful player. I think he's had shit coaching. McTominay and Rashford. Look, McTominay and Rashford, there is a player in there, especially Rashford. We saw him Rashford when he was really young, and they've had Ollie coaching for 3 years, where no one improved under Ollie coaching. So to be fair to players like McTominay and Rashford, maybe some good coaching will be interesting as well. Top 4 race will be more exciting. To see if Man U get Europa or Conference League. Oh, I tell you what, we better beat Crystal Palace. I do not want to be in the freaking Conference League. I will be, honestly, if Man United are in the Conference League next season, no, we don't talk about the Conference League. I do not want to be in that shitty Conference League. I like the Europa League. The Conference League is shite. Liverpool fans think Aston Villa will hold Man City when Villa received a 15 million bonus if Grealish wins the Premier League. I did not know that. I tweeted today. Now, I don't know who you guys want to win the league, Liverpool or City. Who would you rather win the league? Now, I'd much rather Man City win the league than Liverpool because I think Liverpool would equal us on 20 titles or something like that. No, we don't want that to happen. But I actually do want Man City to win the league. But what do you know how I want Man City to win the league? I want Man City to be 1-0 down to Aston Villa in the 88th minute. And then within the space of 3 or 4 minutes, they win 2-1. And Sterling gets a winner in stoppage time and just repeats the Aguero moment. So Liverpool fans can, you know how we had that Aguero and we lost the title in the last seconds? I'd love that to happen to Liverpool. I won't lie, I'd love it, honestly. With the attitude of players, Tannard could sell a lot of players, possibly 6, says Steve. And now there's going to be a lot of players at Manchester United sold. So I actually want to talk about players that are likely to be leaving Manchester United in the summer. And there's going to be a big clear out as well. So Dean Henderson, £40 million Newcastle is something that could happen. Martial could be out the door for 30 million, which is apparently very likely to happen. Wan-Bissaka could be out the door for 20 million. Again, a very likely one to happen. So Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Martial, 3 big players going. Bayern Jones set to leave as well. NUNEZ likely to go. Obviously hasn't been here this season. Andreas Pereira likely to go. Alex Tellers not particularly wanted. Marcus Rashford is still. I think Rashford will stay. I don't think Rashford will go, especially with the lack of wingers at the moment. But Rashford's a name up in the air as well. You're talking about 9 players leaving, on top of the other 5 that have 100% left in Lingard, Mata, Matic, Pogba, and Cavani. So United are talking about losing 14 players in their squad, which is crazy. And luckily, you've got 5 leaving on a free. And I think, the 5 leaving on a free all needed to leave. Now, I like Paul Pogba, but look, I like Matic. I think he's been our best midfielder, not hard, this season. He needs to go. He's too old. We need to get fresher legs. I like Mata. Needs to go. We need to get fresher legs. I did like Cavani. He's pissed me off a bit this season. Needs to go. Lingard needs to go. Pogba, brilliant player, but he needs to go for his career. I just think his time at United is over. So we're quite lucky in the sense that we've got 5 players leaving on a free transfer that need to go. We can get rid of them. Bish, bash, bosh, done. We've obviously got players like Timber potentially coming in, De Jong coming in, maybe Antony coming in as well. So I think, it's going to be a good transfer window. I think a lot of players could be leaving Man United. I think it's going to be one of our busiest transfer windows. And obviously, as I said, Dean Henderson. We could be selling Dean Henderson for £40 million and then spending 30 million on Timber and gaining plus 10 in terms of net spend, which is crazy. But, that's the English players. Yeah. It's good to have English players sometimes because you can actually get a bit of money from them. Dan James, we've got 30 million for. Dean Henderson, 40 million for. I mean, it's crazy how overpriced British players are. It really is. And this is why I hope that whoever the new scouts are, because we sat Jim Lawler and Marcel about, I hope whoever the new scouts are looking abroad, because we do not want to be overpaying on English players. I like Rice, I like Kane, but they're not what we need right now. They're too overpriced. You get what I mean? And actually, everyone we've been linked to this summer is not your bog standard names. I think if Ollie was still here, it'd be Kane and Rice. I generally think if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was still here, the names we've been getting linked to would be Kane and Rice, because when you look at the players that Ollie got, they were all quite well known, and that's not a bad thing. But now Ten Hag's coming in, we're getting linked to some much more obscure names like Timber, a player from abroad. I think if Ollie was still here, we wouldn't be even getting linked to Timber. And Dika, a player from abroad that's not, massive. You look at the names we're getting linked to now under Ten Hag. Obviously, Frankie Dion is a big one, but, he played under Ten Hag. What I like about Ten Hag is he has a vision. He has a plan. I know I'm rumbling and but you know what I mean. Sell all the English players at United. I wouldn't sell them all. I wouldn't sell Sancho. I think Sancho's had an okay season. I think that Sancho's going to be good next season. I think Sancho. Let me know what player you're most excited to see under Ten Hag that's currently at United. I'll tell you my 5 players I'm excited to see under Ten Hag. My top 5 players I want to watch under Ten Hag is Jadon Sancho, Amad Diallo. I think Bruno Fernandes, if he can find form again, would be exciting. Actually, I can't name 5. I can't. Yeah, no, you know what? I'll name 3. Garnacho for Mejbri 5. Or Garner 5. Garner 5. Reportedly, Garner, Mejbri and Garnacho are 3 youngsters that Ten Hag views quite highly as well. 14 players, how much has that saved in wages? But let's say we do sell 14 players. And obviously, we've got the 5 players leaving on a free. You've got Wan-Bissaka, Dean Henderson, Martial set to go. You've got Bailly set to go. You've got Jones set to go. You've got Andreas Pereira set to go. You've got NUNEZ set to go. You've got, who else is set to go? Maybe Tellez is set to go. Who else? Yeah, you've got all those players set to go. United would probably save 100 million in wages if we got rid of all those players as well. Neil says he can't see De Jong coming to United, and we are going to talk about that. Van der Beek. You know what? How did I forget Van der Beek? Top 5 players I want to see under ERIK Tannard next season. I'm most excited to see Sancho, Van der Beek, Amad Diallo, Garnacho, and James Garner. They're 5 players I'm most excited to see. I can't believe I forgot about Van der Beek. I can't believe it as well. Donny, Bruno, Garner. Palestri's an interesting one. I think Palestri needs a Premier League loan. I've always said Palestri needs a Premier League loan. But let's get into De Jong news, guys. Let me know if the stream is lagging, because the Wi-Fi is crap at the moment. So if the stream's lagging, let me know. But I'm going to get into the De Jong story, and then I'm going to get into the Martinez story. I'm going to get right into the transfer news. So first of all, let's get into Timber. So Timber to United. United are in talks with Ajax for Timber. United wants Timber. Tannard wants Timber. Timber will cost United 35 million euros. Samuel Lutka said that Manchester United want a centre-back with Pau Torres still admired, but Ten Hag has endorsed the move for Timber. Have you noticed a couple of weeks ago the centre-back we were getting linked with the most was Pau Torres? Ten Hag comes in, starts the job Monday. All of a sudden on Monday there's been a big shift towards Timber. On Monday we get told there's a verbal agreement. Yesterday we get told United are in talks with Ajax to get the deal done. Today we're being told that Ajax has set a 35 million euro price that United is set to pay. So next week the deal might be done when Timber's back from holiday, or we might be going to Bayern and Manchester United's name is getting used to hurry Bayern up. You never know. It could go one or two ways. Julian Timber will either join United in the next couple of weeks and be our first signing, or Ajax are playing us to get a Bayern to hurry up and make a bid. I think he will move to one of Bayern or Manchester United. Knowing our luck, he'll probably go City, who are linked with Calvin Phillips and De Jong, and every single player United are trying to get is now linked with Manchester City. Also, Mike McGrath said that ERIK Tannard is a huge admirer of Timber and has recently insisted all top clubs in Europe have Timber in their sights. ERIK Tannard gave an interview, he spoke about Timber. We know Manchester United like Timber. We know ERIK Tannard wants Timber. We know apparently Timber has agreed to join United. If it's true that Timber has agreed to join United, then he will be a United player, because we want him. We will pay the money for him. We know that. But the source that said there was a verbal agreement between Timber and United, they've got that from someone and they haven't released who they've got that from. So we don't know if that is true. Not much has been said about it. But if it's true, there's a verbal agreement between Timber and United. He will come to United. There's a price agreed of 35 million euros. United will pay that. If United can pay 80 million quid for Maguire, I think they can spend 30 million pounds on Timber, especially when Bailly will go for about 15 million and Jones will go, and you think of the wages of them, and then Wan-Bissaka will go and the money you spend. And Timber, if Dalot gets injured, worst comes to worst, will fill in at right back. But most of all, he's needed a centre back. But I think one of the things that might appeal about Timber to United is he can play at right back if there's an injury. But I think Timber would be a centre back unless there's an injury. Obviously, Manchester United have been linked to Antony as well. Antony sort of said, to Tannard, if you want me, I'm here, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for the super chat, mate. What's the news on Paul Mitchell? It's just gone quiet, if I'm being honest. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I think we'll have to wait and see. If something's going to happen, the Athletic will say, and all of that. I will check Twitter to see if anything's come out recently. But Antony to Manchester United, Ajax reckon behind the scenes there's a strong possibility of Antony going. Timber's an easy deal to do for United. United can do the Timber deal relatively quickly, relatively easily. Timber's an easy deal to do. There's a price, there's a player that could be on the move. There's a player Ajax will sell, bish, bash, bosh. Timber is a relatively easy deal to do. Antony, on the other hand, more difficult deal to do. Antony would like to come to Manchester United. Antony would like to come to the Premier League. Tannard does like Antony. But I think Antony's the type of deal that if we do get Antony, I think we'd be towards the end of the summer. I think United would like to get 2 midfielders in and Timber in first. And then I think that's when we'll be looking at NUNEZ, Antony and NKUNKU. I think we'll start the summer with someone like Timber. And then we'll be going for midfielders. And then I think once we've got our midfield sorted, you'll be seeing the NUNEZ, the NKUNKU, the Antony links as well. But I want to get into the Frankie Dion story and all of that. So it came out from Pletty Goal that Frankie Dion to Manchester United could become one of the biggest transfers of the summer. The deal is hot, but Xavi is obviously fighting to keep Dion at Barcelona. But ERIK Tannard wants him for his tactical ideas. As I said, we all know Tannard wants De Jong. Laurie Whitwell said United are working on a deal for De Jong. United want De Jong, Tannard want De Jong, Barcelona have to sell De Jong. The situation with De Jong is if De Jong wants to come to United, he will come. If De Jong doesn't want to come to Manchester United, he could go to Manchester City. He could go elsewhere. United will do anything to get De Jong, but at the end of the day, if De Jong doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to come. Romano also said about JURRIEN Timber that United are looking at him. But again, back to Frankie De Jong, sorry. Laporta, Barcelona's president, Joan Laporta, spoke about De Jong to Manchester United. He said that let's the sport management work. We will do what's best for the club. If we sign economic deals, we can do whatever we want. the president of Barcelona is not denying Frankie could leave. Now, if Barcelona were so sure that Frankie Dion was going to be there and stay next season, they'd be saying all rumours bullshit. The Barcelona president is literally not even denying the fact. Not 35 million for Timber is a steal. I will get into the chat in a second. But the Barcelona president is not even denying the fact De Jong's going to have to go. He's walking around the fact the Barcelona president is basically saying De Jong might have to go. And, you know, I think that means De Jong will go. If he's saying there's a possibility he could go, I think if the president says that of your club, that means he will go. Joan Laporta also said on De Jong, if we will sell important, I don't know if we'll sell important players, he said. If we complete some deals, maybe it won't be needed. The priority is our financial situation. As of now, we'll do our best. So Barcelona president saying he doesn't know if he's going to sell important players yet, but they've got their financial situation. Lewandowski wants to come to Bayern Munich, okay? We know that. Bish, bash, bosh. Bayern want to keep, not Bayern Munich. Lewandowski wants to go to Barcelona. Bish, bash, bosh. Barca want Lewandowski, okay? That's one. Christensen's on his way to Barcelona. Kessie's on his way to Barcelona. That's 3 players that Barcelona cannot register unless they sell De Jong or ter Stegen or one of their big players. Now, the question is, De Jong is a player that people will be looking at. Barcelona have players they can sell that you just don't know if anyone's going to be looking at. And the Barcelona's have players like Pedri that they will view as unsellable. So if you look at Barcelona, they have to sell a player. There's a player that they have to sell that will want to come to United. Well, not want to come to United, but United would want to buy. And they've got 3 players they want to sign. They won't be able to sign those 3 players. No matter what Xavi says, no matter what Barcelona are saying, they are fucked financially. They're going to have to sell a De Jong. They're going to have to sell a ter Stegen. They're going to have to sell a player and make a good 50, 60 million in sales before they can register any of the free signings that they want to bring in. So I've always said De Jong is very likely to leave Barcelona despite Xavi desperate for De Jong to stay and all of that, because they might just have to sell him because of financial issues. But will De Jong come to United? He could just go to Man City. He could go to PSG. He could go to Bayern Munich. That is where it lays in. United want De Jong. De Jong might have to leave. Will he come to United? That is the latest on De Jong. Now, what I will say about De Jong is, obviously, it was the very credible Gerard Romano that said that Frankie De Jong is set to join Manchester United. Gerard Romano was very, very confident when he said De Jong was headed to Manchester United. And Gerard Romano is now a little bit less confident, which that scares me a bit. You know, this journalist was so confident that, you know, De Jong was going to come to Man United and was tweeting that the deal was basically done. This tier 1 journalist who's built up a really good reputation, Gerard Romano, has built himself up a really good reputation, a very good, reliable journalist, and he just went all out and said De Jong was going to join United. Now he's going back on his words. Now he's panicking a bit, and I've just said with De Jong, I think it's a 50-50. We've got to wait and see. I think Timber is likely. I think Antony is possible. I think De Jong, you've just got to wait and see. Guys, 106 likes. Let's go for 200 likes. So please do hit that like button if you haven't already. De Jong will not leave Barcelona for United, says Lee, but he might have to leave Barcelona, but will it be United as well? And De Jong going to City to replace Gundogan. That's my fear. That's my fear, and I'll cry. Is Timber as good as I think? Timber's only 20 years of age, and he's been doing a good job at 20. I think it's more about his potential and Tannard developing into a long-term good player for United as well. If Barcelona could sell their media rights, they can register Levin, Kessie, and Christensen. It's going to be hard to do as well. Alice, do you think United should get Spence? Good young right back that Tannard could develop. Not ridiculously expensive when right back isn't a priority. I think there's better fish in the sea, but I wouldn't be against a Spence deal. I just think he's a championship player. I know it sounds bad because I keep preaching that United should be getting these young hidden gems that will see United to step up, but I'd ideally want someone Premier League proven. I think Lamptey, although he'll be expensive, he's proven himself in the Premier League, and then United will be a step up from Brighton is the deal we should be doing. But I think value for money, when you don't want to be spending more than 25 million on a right back, Spence is definitely one that I think even if it went wrong, you could probably make a good 10 million back on him as well. Talking of transfer news, there's obviously Darwin Nunez. David Ornstein, the very reliable David Ornstein, said United are interested in Darwin Nunez. Lots of sources from Portugal are saying that United are the best positioned club to sign Darwin Nunez. And apparently ERIK Tannard does appreciate Darwin Nunez's qualities. I would definitely keep an eye on Darwin Nunez to United. I don't think Darwin Nunez is a very ERIK Tannard type signing. If I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see Darwin Nunez really at United. I don't particularly want him. But if you actually think about it, the 3 players we've got the heaviest links to are Nunez, Timber, and De Jong. And if you look at things the way it could be going, it could be a NUNEZ, Timber, De Jong, and someone else transfer window as well. We've also been linked to the 25-year-old striker from Stuttgart, Sasa Kaladovic. He's available for 20 million euros. Very good player. I actually don't know he's a very good player. I've watched him play once, but I've read that he's quite a good player. 20 million euros is a good price. And I guess if United don't have the money to spend 50, 60 million on a striker, because the striker market is far, 18, 17 million pounds on this guy from Germany. He's a decent backup for Ronaldo at the end of the day. Don't know much about him. If we get linked to him more, I'll do my research, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that player as well. Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, a reliable journalist. Gerard Romano, it was just a rumours guy was guessing. Gerard Romano's got a good reputation for transfers as well, to be fair to him. Antony going to PSG, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, Antony could be leaving, Timber likely to leave. Obviously, De Jong might be forced out as well. I will update you guys with any transfer news updates and stuff. We've got to keep an eye on Amad Diallo today, who might be involved in the not Champions League, in the Europa League final. I'd love to see Amad Diallo start. I don't know if he'll start, but we'll also keep an eye on. That's why I'm early, a little bit earlier than normal. I'm live a little bit earlier than normal because of the Europa League. So I want to actually get into the news. I'm waffling a bit here. So obviously, I spoke about Timber, I spoke about De Jong, I spoke about Antony. They're the three players with the heaviest links to United as of this week. But it's come out today from Mike McGrath about Lisandro Martinez. Now, Lisandro Martinez is Ajax's other centre-back. There's Timber and there's Martinez. And apparently, Lisandro Martinez has been added to the list of Manchester United targets ahead of ERIK Tannard's arrival as manager, and he is seen as an ideal player in the Dutchman's 1v1 defensive tactics. He's also said that Ajax's Lisandro Martinez is a player that Ten Hag believes has been one of the keys to his success at Ajax. With 3 seasons left on his contract, he would cost 30 million euros. So Martinez, again, similar price to Timber. Martinez is the better of Martinez and Timber as an Ajax defensive pairing, but Timber is 20, so you expect long-term Timber to be the better player. Look, I don't know lots about Lisandro Martinez. I don't watch loads of Ajax play. But my thought with transfers is if ERIK Tannard wants this player, and if this player's played under ERIK Tannard before, we know he can play Tannard's system, get him. I always think with players, you know what? Even if I've never heard of the player before, even if it's a player I don't want at Manchester United, if ERIK Tannard wants the player, we get them. That is how I feel, because you look at what ERIK Tannard has done at Ajax. ERIK Tannard did a complete rebuild at Ajax. ERIK Tannard has proven himself in rebuilds, proven himself to have good recruitment at Ajax and work with people in good recruitment. I don't care if I don't like the player. I don't care if I've never heard of the player. If Tannard wants him, you get him. If Tannard wants Timber, get Timber. If Tannard wants Martinez, get Martinez. Obviously, I like Timber more than Martinez, but we get who ERIK Tannard wants as well. And I would keep an eye on that. Mike McGrath also confirmed that ERIK Tannard would like a striker, but it depends on how much of the budget will be left with the club out of the Champions League next season, and that United's recruitment team are expected to meet later this week to plan the summer. So reportedly, ERIK Tannard is going to meet the United recruitment team this week to actually plan the summer as well. And it's also been reported that Darwin Nunez is the only obvious candidate as a striker at the moment. And it's been reported that ERIK Tannard would like a quick centre-back, but other priorities include 2 midfielders, in particular a number 6, as an orchestra to build attacks. So it has come out today. I know I'm getting through the news. I know I'm speeding through the news, but I've got a lot to talk about. It has come out today, confirmed. Ten Hag's number 1 priority is a DM, then another midfielder, then a quick centre-back, then a striker. Manchester United will aim to sign 2 midfielders, 1 to replace Pogba, 1 to replace Matic, a centre-back and a striker. They're the 4 positions that Manchester United is set to sign, according to reports, with interest in at fullback as well. Guys, please do hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, please do subscribe down below. I go live every single evening on Alice Talks Football, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more. So please do subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. And of course, hit that like button. Then we'll be back tomorrow with a video and a live stream this time tomorrow. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Bish, bash, bosh. Lingard to Barcelona, like, why would they want him? I expect Tannard to bring in 5 players. I think 4 or 5 players is likely. Donny van der Beek not going to work. De Jong is very good compared to Donny. Donny will definitely be involved next season, 100 million%. If I see Donny on the bench and McTominay in the starting 11 regularly next season, I'm going to lose it. CR7 says, Alice, I think we're getting both Timber and Martinez since very good, both versatile and can play a variety of positions and very cheap. Possibly, but do you think Ajax would sell both their centre-backs to us in one window after giving us their manager? It's up to Ajax that. Are we in for Martinez as well? We're in for both Martinez and Timber. And do you see Donny van de Beek being chosen ahead of Bruno Fernandes under Tannard? I could see Donny in the pivot and Bruno as the 10 and then playing with both of them. I think Tannard gets admirer of Bruno despite reports. Well, reports are saying Tannard likes Bruno. It's just fans saying that Tannard won't like Bruno. Martinez was Ajax player of the season this year. Yeah, Martinez has been brilliant. Although all the Ajax fans I talk about say that Timber has been just as good as Martinez as well this season. Why don't we try Garner for pre-season? I'm sure we will try Garner for pre-season. I think if Nottingham Forest get promoted, I could see him go out on loan, but I think it depends on our transfer window and who we sign. And Donny van de Beek has hardly played for United. He's like a new player. Donny van de Beek will 100% be like a new signing. And Frankie will stay at Barcelona. Frankie wants to stay at Barcelona, but Barcelona might be forced into selling Frankie Dion. So again, wait and see where that goes. I want to get into some more news, guys. So Samuel Luckhurst has spoken about Ten Hag. Ten Hag is in United mode. He's full-time now. Ten Hag started work at Manchester United on Monday. He's full-time. He's fully in Manchester United mode. He's ready to get stuff done. That's come out. It's come out from Sigo Sport. Ten Hag had an interview about United, and Ten Hag spoke about on changes at Man United to Ajax. Ten Hag has said he had a lot to change with Ajax as well. He said he's already has some knowledge on how it works, how changes work. But like I said, I need to work closely with the team and around the team. Ten Hag said in an interview regarding United and the changes needed at United that obviously when Ten Hag arrived at Ajax, there was a lot of changes that needed to be done. Ten Hag has some experience and knowledge in how changes work and how rebuilds work. He knows what needs to be done. But Ten Hag said that he wants to work closely with the team and the team around the team. And Ten Hag's basically, we know from another source, another quote, that Ten Hag's number one priority when he comes to United is to fix the team, fix the dressing room and get them all friends again. And I think when Ten Hag comes to United, he's got a rebuild. He's got experience in how a rebuild works, buying the right players, getting the right coaches in. But I think Ten Hag's number one priority at Man United is fix that dressing room, fix those dressing room issues. And I think to fix the dressing room issues, it's about selling them troublemakers and getting the ones that maybe were troublemakers and weren't playing on side. Ten Hag says that he needs to analyse the Manchester United squad and make clear choices on what's got to change. I think the reason Ten Hag has started work 6 weeks early at Man United is because he's going to use this 6-week period to really analyse and get to know the United squad, get to know the bad eggs, get to know who does who and what does what and what needs to change and all of that. And I like that Ten Hag's coming 6 weeks early because there's so much to change. And I think he's just using that as an opportunity to try and work out the dressing room, why it's been so bad this season. I think Ten Hag's watched us, and we know that Ten Hag's watched us, and Ten Hag's worked out we need 2 midfielders, with CDM being the priority. He's also worked out we need a centre-back and a striker. So he's obviously watched us this season, but I think Ten Hag wants to be working in and around Manchester United for a good couple of weeks before he chooses who leaves, because it's very easy to say who needs to come into Manchester United, because you can see by watching us, it's a DM, it's a centre-back, but we don't know who the troublemakers are. We don't know why the dressing room is so disrupted. And I think if Ten Hag's working early in and around United, he has a good few weeks to really get a judge of character of which players are likely to ignore his instructions, because we know players are ignoring Rangnick's instructions, which players are likely to, not want him here. Obviously, United players did want Poch, and there's some United players that aren't happy that Ten Hag's coming in because they don't think he's qualified enough, which is an absolute joke because he's won more than half these players. It's about, Ten Hag wants to get rid of the players he knows aren't going to work under him. These Man United players, a lot of people forget, but they threw Mourinho under the bus. They threw Moyes under the bus. They threw Van Gaal under the bus. They threw Ole under the bus. They've done it to Rangnick real badly. And Ten Hag's coming early because he wants to work out which players are going to throw him under the bus or not. He doesn't want to be working with players that are going to muck around and working with players that aren't going to play for him. So, Ten Hag's coming early to get to know the dressing room, get to know who needs to bring and get to know who needs to leave. But also Ten Hag wants all his transfers done by July. So he's ready for pre-season. He's ready for the season. He's ready for pre-season. He can work with what he's got from July onwards. So he has a lot of time to prepare for the seasen, get to know the squad. And, Ten Hag's work rate, his hard working attitude is something needed at United. Ten Hag was obviously asked about the English press and how he's going to deal with the English press, and Ten Hag again said it's part of life over there, the English press. He just needs to make sure that he runs the dressing room. That has to be the focus, that the players win the games for me. And I think that's Ten Hag's way of saying that he doesn't care about the English media or press. That's life. You've got to get on with it. He wants to make sure he's in control of the dressing room. There's no dressing room leaks and there's no players getting upset by what's in the press. And that's what Ten Hag said. And I think Ten Hag just watches United and thinks, fucking hell, that dressing room is awful. let me sort it out as well. Guys, please do smash that like button if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below if you have United accepted the price. Well, Ajax's price is 35 million euros for Timber, and United are willing to pay that. So I'm assuming that would mean United accepted the price. I also have troubles in the dressing room. Don't know what you mean by that, but Man United have got big trouble in the dressing room. And Tannard wants to know the bus number he is going under. Honestly, Manchester United players have thrown every single manager under the bus, which I think is why Tannard is so keen to start work early and get to know the dressing room. Like, the reason Tannard is starting 6 weeks early is because he wants to know the dressing room. You know, he wants to get shit done. He wants to be organised for the season. You know, when have Man United gone into a Premier League season all organised and ready before August? Never. We're always a mess. You know, we've never gone into a Premier League season and basically had all our signings there, first day of the season, done and dusted. We've been an absolute mess. And, you know, Tannard wants everyone here. He wants to go on pre-season with everyone, involve everyone. You know, Tannard wants to be successful, and Tannard's going to do everything he can to be successful at United, which is what we need. We need that mentality of I'm going to give everything. We need that mentality of I want to be successful. I'm going to work as hard as I can, because on the pitch, these Man United players don't scream I'm going to give everything. On the pitch, these Man United players don't scream I'm going to work my arse off. And Tannard coming into United, joining 6 weeks early, making transfer plans, just won the Eredivisie, the next day calling meetings about transfer plans. You know, Tannard is a working maniac. He's a workaholic. He wants to be successful. He wants to win. He's a winner. We know from players that have played under Tannard that he's got this winning mentality. He wants to win. He's a winner. And Tannard comes to Man United, and his priority is literally like, fuck, let's sort the dressing room. Let's get this sorted. You know, he's not here to take a holiday before. He wants to get straight to business. And this is what this squad needs. We need a manager like Tannard to influence the squad, because if you look at City, if you look at Liverpool, all their players are incredibly hardworking and winners. You know, there's not a work drive in a lot of these Man United players. They don't have that work rate, that work ethic that a lot of Liverpool and City players have. And if you have Tannard coming in early and setting an example of his work rate, his winning mentality, I want to win, I want to do the best job I can do, hopefully that'll rub off on the United players, because a lot of people don't realise this job for Erik Tannard is the biggest job of his career. He's not managed in a top 5 league. This is his big break. Ajax, he's done a brilliant job, but you know, if he wants to prove himself as a top manager, you've got to go to your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, your Manchester Uniteds, your Bayern Munich and PSG. You know, you've got to really go to United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea if you want to prove yourself as a top manager. And Erik Tannard, you know, this is his career. This is Erik Tannard's managerial career. And this is the hardest job in football. There's no harder job than to manage Manchester United. There's no more difficult job in football than to manage Manchester United, because you've got shocking owners, you've got big player power troubles, you've got an awful board. And Erik Tannard is doing everything he can to try and be successful, to try and make his management at Manchester United work. And this is what I admire about Tannard. This is what I love about Tannard. He seems desperate to make it work. And I really hope that this just goes and rubs off on Manchester United players. I really do. If Tannard fails, where would he go next? I still think if Tannard fails at United, he'd still get a decent job, to be fair. I just think, you know, you look at Moyes failed at United, doing quite well. You look at Mourinho, failed at United, good manager. Van Gaal failed at United, good manager. You know, I think if you fail at United, you're still going to get a job elsewhere, and, you know, maybe you go to a Bayern Munich. I think clubs know that if you fail at United, you know, it doesn't make you a bad manager, because every manager that comes to United is destined to fail. I think Klopp could have joined United 4 years ago instead of Liverpool, and I think we still would have failed. I think Pep could have joined United instead of City 5 years ago, and I think he still would have failed, because I just think with the way the board's run, with the structure of this club, every manager that's come to United has almost been set up to fail because of Woodward, because of Judge. Every manager that's been here under Woodward and Judge has failed. Now, this is the first time a manager has come, that's not Fergie, he's come to United that's not under Woodward and Judge. Okay, this is the first manager we've got. We've had multiple managers since Sir Alex, but this is the first manager we're going to get in post Woodward and Judge, post the Woodward and Judge era, the era where United have reportedly changed the board, changed the structure of the club, made some big changes. And that's what excites me about Tannard. I'm thinking, you know, this is the biggest opportunity for Tannard. This is for his career, but this is if you look at it from a United fan, so Woodward's gone, Judge has gone, Mert's in, Mert's ambitious, Tannard's ambitious. The people who at United now seem a little bit more ambitious to the people that were at United during other rebuilds, which means that hopefully Tannard will not fail as well. Guys, make sure you hit that like button if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and updates, make sure you subscribe. For all the latest on Timber, De Jong, Antony, NUNEZ, do click that subscribe button. If a bid is made, I will be live to let you know there's a bid been made. If a deal's been agreed, I'll be live to let you know a deal's been agreed. As soon as I know that Timber to United done deal, I'll be live. As soon as I know there's an update in De Jong, I'll be live. So I go live every single evening, keeping you up to date on all the latest transfer news. So do subscribe if you're new. CR7 says we don't need 10 new players. We just need the 11 players on the pitch to play like a team and know what they're doing rather than being a headless chicken. I agree. At the end of the day, we came second last year. We're not a bad team. These players are just playing like a bad team. Our players are nowhere near as bad as they've been playing this season. And I know that. You know that. The reason we are where we are right now is because we're not playing like a team. We're not playing like a team that wants to play together because we've got problems in the dressing room. There's fights, there's arguments. I generally think if we sorted out the dressing room and we didn't have those dressing room issues, we'd have easily got top 4 this season. Our players are more than capable of getting top 4. We're not even that far off. If you take away, we dropped 5 points to Watford and we dropped 5 points to Everton. If you add them 10 points to us, 2 relegation teams we dropped 5 points to, but we're in the top 4. The only reason we lost to Watford and Everton and dropped points to Watford and Everton is because we didn't have the fight they had, not because they're better. That's how I see it. At the end of the day, if United, or not fans, if the United players all wanted to play together, all wanted to work together, we're all happy, we'd have easily got top 4 this season. And what I think is, if Erik Tannard cleans out the United squad and replaces a few players because we're going to be thin next season and solves the problem, I think we'll get top 4. We're not. At the end of the day, I look at maybe we're a good 7-8 players of City and Liverpool, but we're only two signings off top 4. And people call me crazy after the season we've had, but we've got a good team. They're just not playing like a team. They're not playing together. Obviously, it's a new manager, different style of football, so maybe it's more than 2 signings because you need players that can adapt to Tannard's style of football. But if you've got Kamara and Frankie Dion in the midfield instead of McFred, I'm sure we'd get top 4 next season. I only think we're 2 or 3 signings max off top 4. I think we're a good 10 signings of City and Liverpool. But I think if we had 5 good signings and they all played like they wanted to be together, we'd be much more comfortable than we are now. That's how I feel about it as well. I think managing Man United is the toughest. Expectations, dressing room antics, media leaks, and always being on the radar. Look, I'd hate to manage United, and I'm a United fan. And Garnacho's going to gel under Erik Tannard. That's for sure. He's going to be the academy star next season. I hope so. I absolutely hope so as well. And has a fighting spirit and enthusiasm all the time, and then have the imagination to play. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you're talking about United players needing a fighting spirit and enthusiasm, you're absolutely spot on as well. We've got 325 watching and 170 likes, so make sure you hit that like button if you have not already as well. And is it acceptable for Tannard to finish top 6 and play attractive football for the first season? Yes. You know what I've always said about Erik Tannard to United, and I've still got more news to get in regarding Tannard, is I don't care what we finish next season. And that might sound stupid, but I don't. Next season is about seeing progression. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Look at the Arsenal. There's Arsenal fans having a meltdown. Arteta out. We've got top 4. I love giving Arsenal a lot of banter. I love bantering Arsenal. They put all top 4. It's a laugh. I love giving Arsenal a bit of stick and taking the mick and all of that. But when I look at Arsenal, they've not had a bad season. No one thought they would get top 4. They only were close to getting top 4 because we've been so shit. There has been progress with Arsenal. They are playing a better style of football. They're not going to get top 4. They're not going to win a trophy. But if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be Arteta out. Generally wouldn't. And my view with Tannard in his first season is, all I want to see from Tannard is a direction of where we're going. A better football, better coaching, a direction and a team that you can say, oh, this team's made progress from last season. Now, look, this season has been so shit that I think it will be impossible not to make progress from this season. We might still end up in the Conference League this season. But what I mean is, I don't look at Tannard and go, if he doesn't get top 4 next season, if he doesn't get a trophy next season, he's out. I don't care what Tannard does next season at all. It's all about adapting. Next season for Erik Tannard, it's all about adapting. It's all about bringing in his new players, getting rid of the bad eggs, and learning the Premier League. Tannard's got to learn the Premier League. But these Man United players have got to learn Tannard's style of play. Most of the Man United players that are here under Ollie, most of the Man United players that are here right now playing shit, have got to learn Tannard's style of play. And that's going to be difficult for the players because they've played very depressing, not very tactical, intellectual football under Ollie, or sit back counter, where they didn't need immense fitness. And now they're going to be playing the high intensity Tannard football, where you're going to need immense fitness, you're going to need an IQ. And look, a lot of the Man United players don't have the we keep bringing new people, but as I've always said, this first season under Tannard isn't about top four. It's about adapting. Can the players adapt to Tannard? Can Tannard adapt to the league? And then by the end of the season, you can see a direction. You can be like, oh, we need a signing here. We need a signing here. You can see progress. We judge Tannard off his second season. Okay, we judge Tannard off his second season. His first season it doesn't matter. His second season, is there progress from the first season? Is there an improvement in the second season? And then really we make our decision on Tannard by the third season. I want Tannard to have at least 3 seasons at United. And if Tannard by the first season it's shit, it's not working, there's no progress, we can't see an improvement, that's when he goes. But for the first season, I don't want to see any United fans go Tannard out. If I see United fans saying Tannard out after a few losses next season, I'll be fuming, because he needs a lot of time to get rid of a lot of players. He can't get rid of them all, and he's got to bring in a lot of players. We've got so many people to bring in, so many people to get rid of. We've got a complete different pattern and style of play to employ. We've got new coaches coming in. It's a new league for Tannard. He's got to get used to it. There's so much to do that I just think you can't judge Tannard off what he does his first season as well. Let's push for 300 likes, guys. We've got over 300 people watching, so please do hit that like button if you haven't already. And as I always say, do subscribe if you're new. I've got a few more stories to get into. I do want to look at the live chat as well, but I just want to say that I don't think you can judge Tannard from his first window. Tannard needs some transfer windows to refresh the squad and fit his vision. Yeah, like Tannard's going to get one busy transfer window this summer, but let's give him another signing in January. Let's give him another signing the following summer. Let's back Tannard for multiple windows, 3 or 4 years like Klopp did. We've got to do what Liverpool did to Klopp to Ten Hag. You know, look, Klopp didn't even get top 4 in his first season at Liverpool, but we saw progress from Liverpool under Klopp. United need to do exactly what Liverpool did with Klopp to Ten Hag. If he doesn't get top 4, don't turn them, don't sack him, because there's progress. Because, you know, Ten Hag's got a lot to change as well. Could we win the Europa League season 1, or is that too much? Most definitely win the Europa League. Look, I'd like Ten Hag to get top 4 and win the Europa League next season. Fingers crossed we're in the Europa League and we don't bottle it. I'd like Ten Hag, Europa League, top 4. But at the end of the day, if Ten Hag came 6th and won an FA Cup, cool. If Ten Hag came 6th and won a Carabao Cup, cool. If Ten Hag came 6th, won nothing, but we're playing attractive football and we could see an improvement and direction, and with, you know, cool. Second season, it is top 4. You've got to get top 4 in the second season, as long as he gets backed. Do you know what I mean? But it's about doing what Klopp, just copying what Liverpool did with Klopp as well. Trust the process. I hate that phrase, trust the process, but it really is. Winning next game should be on everyone's mind. We've got to beat Crystal Palace. I don't think we will. I generally think Crystal Palace are going to beat us. I think they're better than us. But we've got to beat Crystal Palace. I will do a watch-along on Sunday for Man United versus Crystal Palace, where I'll be shitting myself. Honestly, I don't think we're going to win. And I beg and I pray that Manchester United beat Crystal Palace, because I do not one bit want to be in that shitty little Conference League United. So please do us a favour and beat fucking Crystal Palace, will you? I've got an interesting story I want to read out to you guys. Guys, you're going to find this story interesting. Let me just take a quick sip of water. Oliver Kay has come up with a really interesting story about Ten Hag and the coaching situation. Apparently, Manchester United were unsure about Ten Hag's proposal with Steve McClaren and urged him to consider Phelan and Ramsey, but he stood firm. Manchester United, because obviously Ten Hag got Mitchell van der Gaard first and then he wanted Steve McClaren. Guess what Man United said to Ten Hag? Don't bring in Steve McClaren. We'd like you to stay with Phelan and Ramsey. The Phelan and Ramsey that have been part of the shit show of this club this season. How can you say to Ten Hag, why don't you stick with our coaches after the season we've had? If Ten Hag wants to bring in Steve McClaren, let him bring in Steve McClaren. He was fantastic under Fergie. He has a good rep as an assistant manager, and Ten Hag's been impressed by him, and, you know, he's who Ten Hag wants. I can't believe the cheek of United to say, what about Eric Ramsey and Mike Phelan instead of Steve McClaren? Eric Ramsey and Mike Phelan are part of the problem right now. They're involved in the shit show. I just thought mad. But obviously Ten Hag got his way and he got Steve McClaren. Oliver Kay said that Ten Hag was certain Steve McClaren would be an important appointment alongside Mitchell van der Gaard. He wants McClaren to be an active member of the coaching team, but also as a sounding board and to help him make deals with potentially unexpected problems at United. Ten Hag wants McClaren at United, okay? I don't care what your opinion is on McClaren, Manchester United. It sounds like we're talking about F1, McClaren, what's your opinion? But literally, United, if Tannard wants Steve McClaren, you get Steve McClaren. You've got to do what Liverpool do with Klopp. Right. Maybe I don't want this guy, but the manager wants this guy. We get this guy. Whoever Tannard wants gone, you sell. It doesn't matter if it's a Maguire or a McTominay or a Rashford that the club love and the social media love. If Tannard wants them sold, you get rid, okay? If Tannard wants this player, you get him. Unless it's Tannard saying he wants Mbappe, because there's no chance we're going to get him. But at least you try for Mbappe and we'll get embarrassed. But what I'm saying is you've just got to give Tannard what he wants. Stop telling Tannard to do this and this and this, because then we will fail as a club. Give him what he wants. Oliver Kay did confirm that Ramsey will be part of the regime under Tannard and is likely to focus on one-on-one set-piece training. If we're shit at set-pieces next season, sack Eric Ramsey, sack him. And Oliver Kay also said that Solskjaer's backroom team are feeling Carrick and McKenna scored high on trust, even among the players. But there was a feeling within the dressing room that something was missing when it came to the ability to turn principles into performances. So again, he's saying that while the Man United players liked feeling McKenna and Carrick, they just weren't good enough for the United players. And again, that's why you need to get rid of them. You need to get new coaches in, and hopefully the United players will listen to the new coaches and not think, I'm too good for these new coaches and all of that as well. Vieira and Zaha looking strong. We might lose. I think we're going to lose to Palace, and I think we're going to end up in the Conference League, and I'm probably going to cry on a live stream because I do not want to be in the Conference League. Eriksen as a free agent, good backup to Bruno. I'd happily have Eriksen as a free agent, but we've got Bruno, we've got Donny. I just think it's one of those deals that you might do like on deadline day. If you're like, oh, I fancy him, we've got a bit of money left. Big up Paul, who's just joined the chat as well. Updates, what's gone on? What have you missed on the live stream, Paul? So Timber to United will cost 35 million euros, which is like 30 million quid. And that, you know, Ajax have agreed that if United want Timber, they've got to pay 35 million euros, sorry. United reports are saying we'll pay 35 million for Timber. So United want Timber. They would pay the amount of money Ajax want for Timber. So, you know, unless Tim was going to Bayern Munich, we could expect a big update in Timber to United. If it's true that there's a verbal agreement between United and Timber, if it's true that United will give Ajax the money they want for Timber, which I'm sure they will, and if it's true United want Timber, which I'm sure Tannard does, the deal will happen. But I think Timber could go to Bayern or United. It looks more likely United at the moment, but, you know, all these reports about Timber to United being really close, you do have to take it with a pinch of salt, because could Ajax be throwing out these stories that Timber's on the verge of joining United to get Bayern to hurry up? De Jong, the situation with De Jong is what we know. United want De Jong. Tannard's pushing for De Jong. We really want De Jong. De Jong does want to stay. Barcelona would like to keep De Jong, but they might have to sell De Jong. So it's really depending on if Erik Tannard can change De Jong's mind. And again, Antony would like a move to United. Antony wants to move to United. United would be interested in Antony, but I think United are going to focus on midfield and defence before they focus on attack. United's priorities are number 6. Then it's sort of get a centre back, then it's get another midfielder, then it's get an attacker. That's the situation with transfers. DARWIN, NUNEZ, and NKUNKU also attackers linked. What I will say is make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, by the way, guys, because it's going to be a fucking busy transfer window. I'm talking 10 players leaving, 5 players coming, very likely. It's going to be a freaking hectic transfer window. So do make sure you subscribe, because if you do want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, and you don't want to miss out on anything, do subscribe. The minute we sign a player, I'll be live. The minute we put in a bid for a player, I'll be live. The minute we agree personal terms for a player, I'll be live. If there's a really big update, I'll be live, or I'll do a short video if I can't go live. And I go live every single evening, just rounding up all the news in the last 24 hours. And the news that's come out in the last 24 hours surrounding someone like JURRIEN Timber is that the price has been set at 35 million euros, and United apparently have agreed to pay that kind of money. Obviously, we know that Paul Pogba turned down Manchester City. That's a story coming out as well. Amad Diallo will be on the bench versus Rangers tonight. Hopefully he can feature as well. And yeah, there's just a lot of stories coming out at the moment. But I think Timber's the one to keep an eye on. I think De Jong, I know it's gone quiet, but I still think keep an eye on De Jong. And there could be something in other deals as well. Guys, make sure you subscribe if you have not already, and hit that like button, as I said. Ollie and his team were a bunch of losers. If the players don't listen to the manager, get the hell out. I agree. If these players don't want to play under Tannard, if these players don't want to listen to Tannard, get them out. Timber is cheap for his age. Timber, I feel, will happen. I think Timber's likely to happen unless he's going to Bayern. We'll have to wait and see. Quad is on. Hopefully Man City win, because I do not want to see Liverpool getting the quad, or even the... Well, they would get the quad. They couldn't get the treble. They'd have to get the quad. Is there any club interested in Martial? I'm not sure if any club is interested in Martial, but he is set to leave as well. And the media and ex-players wanted Poch. I hope the media don't go in on Tannard, and I hope Tannard can cope with the massive focus he'll be under. Tannard's going to be under a lot of pressure, under a lot of focus, but Tannard seems like a strong-minded, strong-willed guy. I think Tannard's the type of guy that knows what he wants to do. And what I love about Tannard is Man United interviewed multiple managers for the job. And what I like about Man United interviewing Tannard was Tannard said to Murta and Arnold in his interview, I'm only taking the job on these terms. He said in his interview, he's only taking the job on these 3 terms, that he can bring in the coaches he wants, that he can veto incomings, outgoings, and new transfers, and he can work closely with the youth team. Tannard said, I'm only taking the job if you agree on these 3 terms. And United agreed to it. They wanted Tannard, they agreed to it, which I thought was absolutely brilliant because, you know, Poch was a bit of a yes man. He'll just come to United and do what the board tell him to do. And, you know, the players would probably run the dressing room. There'd be player power Poch. He can't control PSG. And, you know, Poch would be the yes man. He was Levy's yes man. He wouldn't get much of a budget. He'd listen to what they want and he'd try and make it work. Whereas Tannard seems quite strong-minded. Like, this is what I want. Tannard obviously wins the Eredivisie. The next morning he's saying, I'm holding a meeting. But you've got Van der Gaard, you've got Steve McLaren. Tannard is holding a meeting the day after he wins the Eredivisie, and he's like, I want De Jong. He's like, I want Timber. Tannard's quite strong-willed. He knows what he wants. He wants to get what he wants. And I think Tannard is the type of guy that's not going to listen to the media. I think Tannard is too job-focused. I think that's why Tannard is actually done so well at Ajax, because you look at Man United players, all they're doing is reading what people are saying about them, reading the media, going on social media. A lot of these Man United players are too focused on what the media think, too focused on social media, and not focused enough on the pitch. A lot of these Man United players need to step up, do better on the pitch, and spend less time on what's being written about them, less time reading what's being written about them. Whereas Tannard seems like the type of guy that doesn't care what's being written about him. He wants to do the best possible job. He's going to ignore that. He wants to prove that wrong. You know, look at Ronaldo. Yes, he's massive on social media, but Ronaldo gets so much criticism. Ronaldo wasn't even nominated for Premier League Player of the Year, but Bukayo Saka was and James Ward-Prowse was. Yes, they've had good seasons, but Saka and Ward-Prowse have not been better than Ronaldo this season. They get nominated because they're English. Ronaldo doesn't. Ronaldo's going to use that not being nominated for Player of the Year to fuel him to get better. Ronaldo's like the most hated player in football because you've got the Messi lovers but will try and kick Ronaldo at any point. Oh, Ronaldo's gone 5 games without a goal, and they make a massive deal out of it. Most players can go 5 games without a goal. The best players always go 5 games without a goal. And they were making a massive deal out of it. You know, Ronaldo, Tannard, people with elite mentalities, with winning mentalities. And we know Tannard has a winning mentality. Daley Blind said it. Ex-players under Tannard said it. They don't listen to what's being written and read about them. They just get on and focus with their job. The problem is a lot of Man United players keep reading and listening to what's been written about them instead when they need to get on with their job. So, look, I'm not worried about how Tannard will cope with the media. I'm actually hoping Tannard will improve how the players cope with the media. And as I said, there was an interview with a player that used to play under Tannard at Utrecht, and he said that, you know, before Tannard came in the dressing room, it was quite weak. The morale was quite low. There wasn't a winning mentality, and that when Tannard came in, he instilled a winning mentality and completely changed the squad as well. Please smash that like button if you have not already, as always, and subscribe if you're new. I will be live tomorrow evening as well, guys, so do make sure you subscribe. Kessie on a free, he's Barcelona bound, but I would take him at United. 47 likes away from 300 likes, so make sure you smash that like button. Tannard wants Antony from Ajax. Tannard wants Antony and Timber. Timber way more likely than Antony. Tannard even said Antony would be a difficult deal to do because Ajax would have to find a replacement as well. And Manchester United has become Americanized and less English. It's sad to see the past 9 years of crap. I don't care that it's been Americanized and less English or anything like that, but what I do care about is how they try, like the people like the Glazers tried to do the Super League to make it more like NFL and American football. They were even trying to talk about half an hour half-time breaks. Half-time is 15 minutes. We don't want a show at half-time. We're not interested in the show at half-time. No one cared about Dua Lipa singing at half-time. You know, the people, what I don't like about football is they're trying to Americanize football in the sense of, oh, let's get Dua Lipa on at half-time. No, I like a 15-minute half-time. I want the game to continue. I don't want a big show at half-time. It's ridiculous. You know, or let's turn Man United, let's turn the Premier League into the NFL, and let's be like all the richest teams will always remain in this league, and there's no relegation. Let's do Super League. That's what I don't like. That's what I don't like where football's going. I'm not a big fan of the new Champions League format either. I just think, I just don't like it. You know, I just don't like it. If I'm going to be honest with you, as well. I think one good thing about De Jong is that Barcelona need to sell him before June. If they are selling We won't be sitting on him all summer and miss other signings. Yeah, I agree. I'm worried that United will spend too long on De Jong to miss other potential signings, but I think with De Jong needing to go by the first week of June, that means if you do miss De Jong, you've still got a while to replace him and sort him out. Look, Kamara's going to Atletico Madrid. We've already missed one midfield signing. You know, Carbon Phillips could go to Leeds. That's 2 midfield signings. Lamar could go to Bayern. That's 3 midfield signings. And you're sitting there thinking, fuck, we spent all this time with De Jong and all the midfield signings are gone. But the fact that De Jong needs to go in the next few weeks, I think is a positive for us as well. Everyone wants Timber. Smash your like if you want Timber at United. I'd absolutely love Timber at Man United as well. With our current squad, any potential signings do you think will have a new captain? If so, De Gea, Bruno, Ronaldo. I think hopefully Ronaldo will be captain if he stays. Tannard spoke about how he's really excited to work with Ronaldo, how he wants to keep Ronaldo. So that would suggest to me that maybe Tannard will give Ronaldo captaincy. It could go to a vote within the team. You never know. I'd like to see Ronaldo as Manchester United captain. I hope he is. I think there'll be. I think we'll have about 4 or 5 new players. I think about, you've got 5 players leaving on a free. I think another 5 players will go. And I think Ronaldo will be captain next season if I was going to do like a so-called prediction, I guess, as well. And halftime concert show like American football. I'd absolutely hate that. Alice, what do you think of the 10-hog chant? I hate it. It's a shocking chant. 1 hog, 2 hog, 3. Oh my God, it's awful. Come on, be more creative. I tell you what, we are so creative with editing Timber in a Man United kit. Timber gets 1 link to United and there's 50 photos with him in the United kit next to Ten Hag. There's 50 photos with De Jong in the United kit next to Ten Hag. We're creative, but not with chants. 1 hog, 2 hog. That's nearly as bad as the Wolves one I heard the other day about don't sell Ruben. I thought, no. United, you've got to get better with chants. Like Tony Marshall came from France. The English press said he had no chance. 50 mil. Down the drain, Tony Marshall scores again. You need something like that. That's a good chant, not 1 hog, 2 hog. Oh, it's a dreadful chant. I do not. If I'm going to Old Trafford and people are singing 1 chant, 2 hog, I won't be singing that. I'll be singing in Glazed Out. That's what I'll be singing. I'll tell you that. We need a CDM first, and yes, Samuel Luckhurst has reported that Ten Hag's priority is a CDM, then a box-to-box, then a centre-back, then a striker. Ten Hag's priority is 2 midfielders, followed by defensive reinforcements, followed by a striker. And I think Ten Hag's got eyes. CDM is the number 1 priority for United. Get CDM done. Haaland could have joined Man United if BVD didn't do release clause. Haaland could have joined United. He's going to go to City, and it's going to be worrying times. But at the end of the day, and people, this is my thoughts on Haaland to City. Man United aren't going to be competing with City next season. If you're Liverpool, you should be stressed about Haaland to City, because next season again will be Liverpool. As much as I hate to say it, next season is Liverpool and City fighting for the title. So if you're a Liverpool fan, shit yourself about shit yourself about Haaland at City, because Liverpool and City will be competing for the Premier League next season. No one else. That's true. I don't like saying that, but it's true. So Liverpool fans will be upset about Haaland, shitting themselves about Haaland. We're not competing with City next season. We're competing with Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, maybe even the likes of Newcastle and West Ham for top 4. So we need to be worrying about what those clubs are doing. And then hopefully next year we will start to worry about what City and Liverpool are doing, because we might think, we can maybe push City and Liverpool next year. We're not going to get near them next season. Not at all. So we need to worry about what Arsenal do, about what Spurs do, what West Ham do, what Newcastle do. We don't need to worry about Haaland going to City, because at the end of the day, that's not going to affect us, because we're not going to be competing for the title. Liverpool are. That's how I feel about it. I'd love Haaland at United. Of course, I don't want him at City, but does it really make a difference to us? If City didn't sign Haaland, do you still think we'd finish above City next year? No. If we finish above City next year, I will literally give away £1,000 on a live stream. And that's my way of looking at it. That's how I look at it, really. Newcastle want Henderson 40 million. True, I would sell him then as well. We don't need 2 keepers that are that good. So yeah, ERIK wants Ziyech. Is that true? Not read much about it. I do like Hakim Ziyech, and I do think Chelsea could sell Ziyech. Right midfield suits Ten Hag's style of play. I think Ziyech is a player that Ten Hag could be for sale. I wouldn't mind Ziyech at United. I like Ziyech. I know that he's not been brilliant at Chelsea, but I like Ziyech. If we sign Ziyech, brilliant. But honestly, yeah. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe and all of that as well, and share the video. Make sure the post notifications are on. But guys, news on Darwin NUNEZ is a bit interested, but I think we won't be linked properly with Darwin and NUNEZ for a couple of weeks. I think United will want to get Timber and a midfielder done before they get NUNEZ. It is midfielder before anything, and I don't think United are going to sign a striker until they have an idea of what they're doing with midfield as well. But guys, please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. I'm going to end the live stream here, but I do want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned into today's live stream. It's been a really good show. I will be back tomorrow night with some more transfer news updates. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and more, please do subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for getting involved in the live chat. I'm going to go watch the Europa League final, Rangers versus Frankfurt tonight. Come on Rangers, I think it will be brilliant. And yes, see you guys later. Thank you.